Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Casting Dead, a podcast for The Walking Dead on AMC. I'm Matt.
And I'm David.
And today we're going to be going over Season 7.
We're going through it all.
David, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm kind of unprepared for this episode. I know that we normally do a recap of the half seasons. We've waited a little too long to do this recap. I think we had trouble finding time to do it. And now the season is not as fresh in my mind.
You know what? Let's just pull up IMDb and review every single episode. Recap every single. You have the notes from the previous episodes. Just read them all.
I'm sure.
Minute by
that's
minute.
a great way to keep listeners. But I might go a different way with it. I think we'll just go over some of the
Good call.
Some of the emails we got, and also maybe just talk about what really happened in this season, David.
What really happened?
What happened? Because I don't know exactly what happened in Part A and Part B. Actually, no, I know what happened in Part A. Part B was just them getting ready to fight. And that's really all it was. It was preparing, trying to get everybody on board. You had so many different groups, David. Scavengers, Oceanside, Alexandria, Hilltop, Kingdom. Not to mention all of the side stories. All of the people who didn't really fit into a group. We had Carol off the side. We had... who else did we have?
Well, Tara was off the side, but then she rejoined them.
Yeah, it's just...
Are you talking about like other characters like not a part of the A-list, or...?
No, I'm just talking about like not associated with one of the 5 groups that we have here. You know what? I didn't even talk about 6 groups because we also have the Sanctuary.
Right.
So let's talk about some of these groups here. What do you feel about the Scavengers?
Well, I know how you feel about the Scavengers.
Do you feel like they added anything to this season?
Added?
Yeah.
They were just there for a plot twist.
They were just there. Yeah, exactly. They were just there to complicate matters. I don't think things needed to be complicated. The war could have gone on just fine without them being double crossed.
I don't know. Like, the thing is that after they met after they met the Scavengers,
yeah,
the media goes crazy. Like, the fans go crazy. Like, oh my god, they got some allies. They're gonna take down Negan. Blah blah blah. And at the end of the episode, I'm saying to myself, you conclude to this episode, you push Rick in a ditch with this, this zombie name. What was the walker's name again? I used to know it, but whatever. They push him in this ditch to test his strength, and they make a deal to give them ammunition. And you're saying to yourself, you could trust these people? How do you come off this episode saying you could trust these people? And yes, they will sacrifice their lives to kill the saviors, and people just ate it up.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, well, shouldn't there be more of a trust barrier being built there? I don't understand. Like, I was hoping it was more open-ended than anything, but it almost concluded that, they called the episodes New Best Friends, right? What was the name of the episode? Best Friends?
Yeah, New Best Friends.
It was a
bad move. It was a bad leadership decision from Rick to trust a group that, if it weren't for Negan, he would in no way have trusted these people. Probably would have tried killing them all off because they posed a threat. They were hostile.
They're probably easy to kill. You could just burn where they live so easily. You catch trash fire. You could just
tire fire there. I mean, they kidnapped Gabriel. They took all of their remaining stuff from the, all their stuff from the kitchen, all their weapons or whatever they had left, really, and were still very threatening. And like you said, pushed Rick into a pit, and just whatever happened. And I feel like these are not the kind of people you ever want on your side. And Rick was just so open to having them join him and doing whatever they wanted.
He was
desperate, but we didn't see that desperateness. We saw
desperation.
Thank you. You can see me struggling. It's like, what word did they use?
The more desperate term.
It was like he was walking on sunshine, and he saw this, and he was like, even better. We never saw him contemplate, like, maybe I shouldn't trust them. He actually just smiled the first time he saw them.
I don't know why. The thing is, so if we're going to mention the next group, if you could mention Oceanside next.
I will mention them next. I first want to talk a little more about that Scavenger episode.
Okay, fine.
Only did they...
Yeah, but the only thing I wanted to say is that, the way things happen with Oceanside, like, you would rather get them as allies as opposed to the Scavengers.
Yeah, it seems like they're a little... I would trust them more, but they're... Yeah, you're right. I would definitely trust the Oceanside more, but...
Totally.
Anyway, with the Scavengers, that whole episode where you're introduced to them, I was thinking about it a bit more, David. Remember how bad some of that was? Like the composited shots, them standing on top
the background? Yeah.
Why did they do that? Why was it so bad?
I don't know. They're not organized. I think production value isn't really something they look at anymore in the show.
But they didn't need that shot, is what I'm thinking. Like, they didn't need to have a poorly composited shot. They could have just not shot it that way. Well, shot it any other way. If you do it and you see, it's like, man, this looks really bad, and we are the top. We're a television show that has like 17 million viewers. We can't put a shot this bad on TV.
Well, you write an episode, you write something, and some of it makes it on screen, some of it doesn't. And you say they choose this to be on screen. Greg Nicotero shows off that whole season. This oh man, it's so weird to say this because the whole mid-season premiere and mid-season finale, I hate that junk so much, just those terms. But at the mid-season premiere, Greg Nicotero shows up. He boasts the fact that they almost missed the opportunity of doing the whole Walker clothesline thing. But when you think about it, yes, it looks so cool, and it probably cost them so much to make that sequence. But you're saying, well, what was the context of why did they do it? What opportunity did they miss? Why did they have to clothesline everybody? I didn't get it. They spent more production value on something useless like that, and have less resources for whatever shot they needed for Rick to stand over a pile of garbage and see the background. Yeah. And they probably could have found you're filming outside the whole day. You can't get Rick to just step on a crate. on a little hill that he could be driven to, and just to get that shot.
Well, that's true, but even if you can't composite it and you can't find a way to do it naturally, then just do it, or don't do standing on a mountain. Just have him with the people from the scavengers standing behind him. Do it with a different background. Don't do it with. If you can't do it right, don't do it at all.
I agree. And so I'm just saying is the decisions they made for production value just didn't make it. It just didn't add up.
No. And the thing with Nicotero is he's really good at what he does.
Totally.
But the problem is that he has too heavy an influence on this show, and he's driving where it's heading. He's driving. If it wasn't for him, I'm sure that wouldn't have happened. The whole clothesline scene. That's something he must have wanted to do. A lot of these are a lot of the zombie centric scenes are just him, and I feel like it's him getting bored. But he's done this. Now he wants to go bigger, do something he's never tried before, and he's using The Walking Dead as a playground just to test out all these things.
But these things are becoming gimmicks. When you have that's the thing. You watch the Talking Dead, it's kill of the day, a walker of the day, and this and that, and he's playing to these things. It's well, no, just do what the story is supposed to make you do. Don't come up with these narratives to have headlines. It doesn't make any sense. Just stick with the narrative.
Yeah, that should be the first check mark under every idea he has. Does it serve the story? And if it is irrelevant to the story and just looks cool, think about, do we really need to waste all of the budget on this shot? But because Nicotero is one of the producers now, he's one of the head honchos. He's like, yes, we do, or else I'm out.
Well, I can't even imagine the show having a budget restriction. They could get all the money they want.
They could get all the money they want, but I don't think that's how AMC is running.
I guess not.
Running it, because the more money they give them, the less money is going in their pockets.
Yeah, well, that's the worst part. So the film, not the film. Sorry, we're always talking about film, but the show makes more money. More and more every year, practically, except for this season. I think this season said the ratings were at an all-time low, but despite that, they still make money. They still make money. So yet they would still find ways to cheap out in order to save more money, to have more money in their pockets. They don't want to spend the necessities to make a good show, all because they're claiming what they have to. They're claiming what it takes to make a season. You don't even have when you talk about a basic surplus. You know what I mean? I'm bringing finance into this. You talk about a surplus. You claim it actually didn't cost us that much to make this season. So next season you're only going to get this amount of money.
Yeah, but they're not seeing it. They're seeing this more as an investment, because they see it makes all this money. It's like, okay, so we got all this money. It only cost them this much. Now let's take all this money that we should be putting into the show, but we're going to put it into other projects, other shows, and because Walking Dead's not going to last forever, let's start.
Well, apparently they are. Apparently that's what it is. That's what they're saying. So that's what I'm saying. So they're challenged. They're I don't know if it is a surplus situation where if they keep claiming their surplus, if they keep saying what it takes to make the show, and it keeps getting lower and lower, and AMC will take advantage. If it doesn't cost you that much to make the show, this is the only allowed budget you'll get this season, and maybe it does reflect poorly on how every season looks.
Yeah, but I think AMC is not necessarily paying them to make the show. AMC is making the show.
Exactly, but I'm just saying for whatever whoever's allocating whoever's allowing them their budget every year, their fiscal budget every year, they're putting a reduction on it almost every year because they're saying it costs less to make a season, and it's showing. The production value is reflecting on that.
Yeah,
that's how I feel anyway.
It's super upsetting when some seasons are literally them just walking around in the woods, which costs next to nothing to film.
Right.
And they're still making so much money, but then they come to a shot where they need to put a bit of that money back into the show, and they refuse to do it.
Well, they always make a shortcut out of it, CGI or whatever it is.
The CGI deer from the
totally
the weird Rick and Michonne adventure.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Though that abandoned carnival that setting is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty.
I did like the setting a lot.
It was, but I felt like they could have done so much more.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
When I read the synopsis of that, like they go to an abandoned carnival or something.
Yeah,
you could do so much more. Have a House of Mirrors. Why wasn't there a House of Mirrors situation?
And like so much more clown walkers.
Clown walkers? They didn't try it. Like they.
You have this the bearded lady walker, some little people coming along,
strongman. How hard would it be to kill a strongman walker?
I don't know. Yeah, he must be he must have ate so much or something, or I don't know what. Just like it's gotta you didn't have any of the gimmicks. You have American Horror Story.
I guess it wasn't a freak show though.
It wasn't a freak show, but that's
not gonna have conjoined.
You gotta have a freak show in every carnival. Siamese twins.
But I feel like in America, in the little nooks and crannies of America, you got to have some pretty freaky sideshows.
Not in Georgia, I guess.
No, they need to expand. Get out of Georgia. It's like so much.
You're supposed to head north. You're supposed to head north where things are colder. That's the way to survive.
It's like at this point, what does Alexandria really have for these people? It doesn't have food. It doesn't have safety anymore.
But they have self-sustaining energy, though.
Get a couple trucks.
A couple trucks. It takes quite a bit more than that. You have to have somebody who knows what they're doing too.
You know what? Maybe just forget about the self-sustaining. Forget about the solar panels. Drive for
go to
months.
Portland.
Just go up north.
Portland's not cold though.
Go somewhere not within walkie distance of this group of people that are meaning to kill you.
Come to Montreal. Montreal, first of all, where we are right here, it's an island, first of all, so it's hard for them to cross, unless they do the whole Land of the Dead thing where walkers go underwater, which is a little tougher. But get to Montreal, you could blow up the bridges. It's an island. There's a ton of potholes, so most walkers will break their legs going through the potholes and the cracks and everything. And there's a lot of hills in Montreal, so if you just go up to the top of Mount Royal, you'll be fine. Though it will be largely overpopulated because most people are doing that.
Did you just call Mount Royal a hill, David?
It's a hill. It's not a mountain.
Very offensive.
I'm sorry. As a Montreal, I'm going to say that is a hill.
All right.
You go to Mont Tremblant and you go ski. Those are mountains. Mount Royal. It's a hill.
Yeah. It's a bunny slope.
It's a bunny slope. Anyways, so.
All right.
A good way to promote our city and with a backhanded compliment, but yeah.
Oceanside, David.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you hate more, Scavengers or Oceanside?
Well, everybody hates the Scavengers after what they did. What do you think? You think Oceanside is like a group of people they're there to hate? Not really.
Well, they just didn't even.
They tried to kill Tara. Maybe you might like him a little better because you don't like Tara, but I don't know.
Wow, it's the fact that they couldn't even kill Tara that upsets me. They're useless. They deserve to have their guns stolen. Now I'm thinking, Rick's group against the Scavengers. Without Negan as a threat, Rick's got to kill those Scavengers. Rick coming into contact with the Oceanside, Rick is the bad guy.
Right.
Without the Negan's group, I don't think Rick would do this. I think that
it's just because they have the hostility, the initiate. Because the way Tara builds them up, they were very hostile. She almost died twice with them, so we got to approach them with hostility. We got to get them on their toes. That was the reason why, and you have to waste some dynamite for some odd reason.
Oh yeah, they did. They wasted all their dynamite.
Not all, but you didn't need to. Yeah. You could have had people just pointing guns at them because they had no guns on them. So
yeah, I feel like it's just a weird thing. It's like you need the ammunition from these people, so you're gonna waste